All right, a man suspected of killing an Iowa college student and hiding her body in a cornfield is due in court today. 24-year-old Christian Bahena Rivera is being charged with the first-degree murder of Mollie Tibbetts. Rivera is an undocumented immigrant who lived near Tibbetts. She disappeared on July 18th while out for a jog. Police believe they have found her body. Adriana Diaz is in Poweshiek County Jail in Montezuma, Iowa. Adriana, good morning.
Good morning. Behind me is where Christian Bahena Rivera is being held on $1 million bail. If convicted, he faces life in prison without parole. Police sifted through more than 4,000 tips, but they say it was home surveillance video that was the critical piece of evidence that helped them crack the case.
A body was discovered early this morning.
We were permanently separated, not just for a week or a month.
I was at home when I got the phone call from the hospital.
He was hit head-on by a repeat illegal alien criminal.
Known gang member came in the back and he fired the gun and struck my son in the arm.
Trying to get away, he drove over my son's body. He backed up, driving over him a second time.
Rear end is estimated 62 miles an hour.
He strangled him and let him go to see if he was breathing. Strangled him over and over and over until death.
And he dragged Matthew a quarter of a mile to his death.
He rear-ended her, killing her.
He went to a field and put Josh out and put the gasoline on him and lit him on fire.
Previously deported about 1.5 to 2 years before.
This man wasn't supposed to be here.
My separation.
My separation.
My separation.
My separation.
My separation.
My separation.
My separation is permanent.
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 Our separation is permanent.
Try love for one person to stand up against all odds and just hug somebody the way that Alice Johnson hugged her family when she got out of jail. That one by one, we can defuse this nuclear bomb of hate that we're in as a society by thinking of everyone as our family. And how would we treat our kids? How would we treat our
I think that's a beautiful thought, but just in literal terms, there are families being torn apart at the border of this country. There are literally families being torn apart as a result of what this president is doing. And I think that, you know, we cannot forget that, whether we like his personality or not, his actions are really what.
Well, law enforcement just cleared this area, but there is a growing group of people who are upset about what they've been seeing outside since about 6:30 this morning. Let me step aside so you can see there's a sign saying "We love our neighbors." They also wrote on the ground with chalk saying OPD is a disgrace. They were upset, thinking that this was an immigration investigation because Homeland Security was out here. But we just got word from Oakland police that this was in fact a federal criminal search warrant executed in connection with human sex trafficking of juveniles right here at the 700 block of 27th Street. One person seen covered in a blanket taken away by law enforcement here in Oakland. Neighbors say this was the second person taken away, and they're upset. Hudar Cohen says she woke up to the sounds of a crying baby and law enforcement officers outside this home on the 700 block of 27th Street.
I just heard my roommate like racing upstairs and crying and being like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do. And I came out and all of our housemates got together and we came outside and we saw a bunch of cop cars, a bunch of other cars that are apparently like ICE cars that and just so many ICE agents like coming in and entering our neighbor's house.
Cohen said no one was being told what was going on except ICE agents did confirm with KPIX5 that special agents with ICE and Homeland Security were executing a federal search warrant as part of an ongoing criminal investigation.
It's been really tough because we don't know what's going on.
Okay, I'm from Mexico, and Mexico's started doing really bad after Obama sent all those weapons, Fast and Furious, and like they destroyed Mexico. So when they did that, like I started like trying to make people aware that they were doing a lot of bad things over there. The problem with immigration here is that like I live in South Central. Like if you go down there, like the quality of life is like really bad because all the immigrants that come new, they go to that area, those areas too. Like, so it's a bad thing for black communities and for like people like me that have been here for a long time.
Tell me a little bit about your background.
Okay, so I came when I was 9 years old. Then when I went back to Mexico, I couldn't stay there no more because. So I came back, but then I came back illegally. But then I did everything right, so I had to go back again, and I came back in again.
So you went through the whole process.
I went through the whole process. Like if you really want to be from here, you'll find a way. Like one way or the other, you'll find a way. But you have to love this country to try to find a way. Like if you don't, then like if you hate this country, like why would you be here?
So tell me a little bit about your background.
I am from Colombia, South America. I came here legally. It took me 5 years attending the embassy, bringing all the documentation and requested to come here legally with my family, my 3 children when they were very young.
And you support President Trump?
Totally. I think he's a gift from heaven to our country. He is great. I know he is not a politician. I don't care because he thinks and talks just like we regular, normal people.
What policies specifically do you support of his?
The security for the country, make America first again, the immigration, the employment for everybody, the sincerity, how he speaks. I like everything about the man. About his private and personal life, I don't care. It's none of my business.
A program meant that migrants who were caught in certain border states were put through the criminal system, not civil immigration courts. It made exceptions for adults traveling with children, but others were ushered through mass trials aimed at deporting them quickly. It's a practice that's still around today.
One of the things we committed to do was end catch and release by the end of fiscal year 2006.
Under this policy, migrants were held until their deportation hearing, and that meant an increase in beds at private detention centers. In 2014, President Barack Obama declared a crisis at the southwest border after a surge of unaccompanied minors, mostly from Central America.
We now have an actual humanitarian crisis on the border that only underscores the need to drop the politics and fix our immigration system once and for all.
During that child migrant crisis, the Obama administration also focused on deporting people quickly and put some through criminal proceedings. But it chose to hold families together in administrative, not criminal detention. The Obama administration also set up makeshift overflow facilities. And we saw similar images back then of adults and children behind chain-link fences draped in thermal blankets. Now, Trump is reportedly taking it a step further and considering makeshift tent cities to detain minors caught at the border. The Trump administration says it's now merely enforcing the letter of the law, but images of children in detention have made it hard to sell it in political terms, and humanitarian ones too.